In this summary of the series of The Wonder Wizard of Oz, as well as The Marvelous Land of Oz, a young lady named Dorothy, who lives in Kansas with her dog Toto and her family, are at their home, and one evening a tornado begins to circulate around her house. Her family finds shelter, but Dorothy is looking for her dog Toto when the tornado lifts them up in the house and they're swept away. When Dorothy awakens after the tornado has passed, she realizes that she is no longer in Kansas. And actually, in the movie, that is a very important, not really important, but very well known line that she says is that she is no longer in Kansas. But she sees that the house has landed and killed somebody, which happened to be the Wicked Witch of the East. She eventually met with the Witch of the North, who gives her the shoes of the Witch of the East. These were magical shoes. Dorothy goes on a long journey to help save the Munchkins that live in Oz. On this journey, she finds many friends: a scarecrow who needs a brain, a tin man who is in need of a heart, and, ironically, a lion who is in need of courage. Throughout the whole journey, the Wicked Witch of the West attempts to halt Dorothy and her friends from completing her journey, but they do not let that stop her from finally meeting the Great Oz, who is the leader of Oz. When she meets the leader of Oz, he explains that he is also from, technically, America. And he explains that he wants to go home, and they decide to get on a hot air balloon and leave Oz. Though this plan does not go as they wanted it to, the Great Oz does get lifted up, and she does not. Dorothy then meets a good witch that tells her that all she has to do to go home is click her magical shoes together 3 times and command to be home. That she does, and so she wakes up in Kansas with Toto. The reason this is a fantastic tale is because it is of a lost girl who needs friends to help her get back home. Not only does she need their help, but they actually need hers as well. I think everyone can relate to at least one of the characters in this tale, either needing a heart to love, needing a brain to think, or even needing the courage to be courageous. They soon find out that they all have those abilities from the start, and just need to be shown the inabilities of themselves. The second book in this series, which there's actually 14, which I did not know, is The Marvelous Land of Oz. In the second book, the protagonist is named Tip, and he lives with a witch named Mombi. One day, Tip tries to scare the witch with a scarecrow that he had made and put a pumpkin on its head. He named the scarecrow Jack Pumpkin, and the scaring of Mombi did not work out. But Mombi, being a witch, had the powder of life, which she used on the scarecrow. This brought Jack the scarecrow to life, and Tip and Jack decided to leave at fear that Mombi was going to use the powder for evil things. With the powder, Jack and Tip seen a sawhorse and decided to put the dust on the sawhorse so they could travel quicker. The scarecrow that was with Dorothy in the Wonderful World of Oz. Hold on, I'm doing something. Yep. Is now the leader of the Emerald City. And
I didn't hear a thing you just said.
I'm doing something. The scarecrow that was with Dorothy in the Wonderful World of Oz is now the leader of the Emerald City. On their trip, they meet an all-girl army who is led by General Junger. These girls want to overthrow the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow has the idea, Jack the Scarecrow has the idea to fly away. Tip uses the powder on the furniture and floats away without being controlled. Glinda, from the first book in this series, is the Good Witch and the actual rightful leader of Oz, meets them. The whole group decides to go back to Emerald City to see Mombi, but she tries in every way she can to deceive them. Mombi has transformed into a rose, which Tin Woodman actually picks up and puts it in his lapel. Luckily, Glinda notices Mombi and catches her as she tries to run across the desert. And later on in the rest of the series, you'll notice that if anyone touches the sand on the desert, they will turn into sand. A little foreshadowing. When she's caught, she explains to Glinda that the wizard had brought her a girl, Ozma, and she had turned her into Tip. This is where the story ends, though there are 12 books left in the series. This is clearly a fantastic tale of a young boy who's attempting to find himself and runs into many of his friends that help him along that journey. Though it seems very similar to the first book, I'm definitely going to continue reading the series. The message of this tale is that not always things are what they seem, and you must be careful who you trust, though the truth will always come out in the end.